Today we're going to be talking about our organic culinary coconut oil, which the reps have been busy placing in the stores that you so diligently demo in. And by the way, thank you for going to all those stores that you go to and setting up those tables and spending those hours there communicating with consumers, because that makes a really good presentation for Barleans. You are our smile and our happy person out there that's representing Barleans. So as I always mention, our customers don't get a chance to interact with Barleans directly. Oh, they might call in for a question, which we always welcome, or email us, and we're always welcoming their questions and answer them, each and every one of them. But as far as a person, they rarely would see a rep in a store. They might on occasion, but when they're in the store and you're doing a demo, well, you definitely are Barleans to them. So thank you for doing that for us. And I know you're all doing a wonderful job and you enjoy what you do. So today we're talking about this organic culinary coconut oil. And you've noticed already there's a big difference. Our coconut oil, our organic virgin coconut oil, and you'll notice here on the screen it says organic above coconut oil and then culinary. And we're going to talk about what the difference is between culinary and virgin. We're going to look at this product in depth, and there's a lot of other difference between this one and our virgin coconut oil other than just the color of the bottle, which this is looking very brightened up in this white bottle and light colored label. So you'll see there's a nice contrast between the two as they stand side by side. So let's get started and talk about these. I promise not too many slides today. See if I can get them advancing. There we go. Okay, so what is this? What is organic culinary coconut oil? And, where did it come from and how is it different? And we're going to even have a little chart for you that you'll be able to compare and contrast both of these products. Our organic coconuts, as you know, are grown where they should be grown, in the tropics. Ours come from the northern Philippines. So this oil, in fact, all of our coconut oil is coming from this very, very same area. Coconuts are harvested and processed, and this coconut oil has had some refinement. And I know we've been, taught to think that refined oils are bad, but there are many levels of refinement, and we'll talk about what the type of refinement that's done to this. This oil is meant to be a culinary or a cooking oil, something you would definitely use in the kitchen. You can also use it on your body. We'll talk about that too. But it is very nice because it has a heat toleration point of 400 degrees, so making it a little bit more chef friendly. And it's rich in naturally rich in medium chain triglycerides, those MCTs. We'll talk about those. And certainly has that higher cooking point. It is certified USDA organic, just like our virgin coconut oil. And just like that oil, after these coconuts are harvested, the inner meat is dried at a low temperature. It is expeller pressed with careful quality control and, of course, lab analysis all along the way. It's very rich in medium chain triglycerides, and it is refined enough just to remove the coconut taste and scent. So this would be something like filtering out the aromatics that are responsible for the taste and scent. The fatty acid, those MCTs that are in coconut oil, naturally put there by nature, are not responsible for the scent and flavor of coconut. Those are coming from polyphenols that are in the oil that could be filtered out to remove that smell and scent. And would someone want that? Yes, and we'll talk about why. So coconut oil in general, whether it be our culinary coconut oil or our virgin coconut oil, is really a great superfood and really good for our health. The fatty acids in coconut oil are medium chain triglycerides. So there's no omega-3s in coconut oil. And, we're known as an omega-3 company, but these medium chain triglycerides are also very valuable. They're great to support our immune system. Some of you already know because you've had trainings on coconut oil before, but I want to refresh your memories and to let you know that these medium chain triglycerides, there are three of them in coconut oil: lauric acid, caprylic acid, and capric acid. And you may or may not have heard of monolaurin. That's a pretty important MCT, and it's responsible. A lot of mothers are looking for this, especially nursing mothers, because mother's milk is rich in monolaurin, and so it supports moms who are nursing, and certainly it's good nutritionally. The idea of these three fatty acids, these medium chain triglycerides, are that they're certainly not a substitute for omega-3s or omega-6s by any means, but they are very valuable on their own because they support a whole host of different body systems. So they support a good immune system because they work alongside of our immune system. Each one of these MCTs has its own unique capability to break down specific viruses, bacteria, and fungus. So a lot of people actually, use coconut oil for this purpose, either on their skin or they take it internally. And we've heard of people actually even with an overbalance of yeast, candida in the body, will use coconut oil at various times throughout the day to help, kill off that type of overgrowth. So it works alongside of your immune system to help break down the bad bacteria that might be coming in, and certainly viruses, and again, the fungus. It does not break down the good bacteria in your gut. It's friendly to the friendly bacteria. Cardiovascular health. We know there have been some studies looking at MCTs for helping to raise the good cholesterol. So the hero cholesterol. So, and also for a healthy metabolism. It's been noted that when people take these MCTs, they go to the liver and they're changed into energy from there. They're not stored on the body as fat. They're actually changed in the liver to energy for the body. So these MCTs are pretty important. We've talked before about our MCT swirl, and those of you that were on that call or who have listened to that training understand that MCTs, when you ingest them, can change into ketones, which can become fuel for the brain. So in the case of that MCT swirl, remember that for people who have maybe insulin, they don't they're not sensitive to insulin anymore. Maybe they have type 1 or type 2 diabetes, and oftentimes the brain, which uses glucose for fuel, may not be able to uptake that glucose. And so these MCTs can come in handy by changing into ketones in the liver and then supplying the brain with an alternate energy. So it's pretty interesting, and I believe there's a training on the MCT swirl on the webpage, so if you want to take a look at that, you can, or certainly ask me some questions about it. But the basis is that MCTs are helpful for brain health. So if you've ever heard about Dr. Mary Newport, you can Google her if you'd like to and look at her blog about how she uses coconut oil to help her husband who has early onset Alzheimer's, and that's very interesting. She's a physician herself. She's a neonatal specialist, and she understands that when babies are first born, their brains are actually using MCTs, or actually using ketones that are coming from the mother's milk, the MCTs, to be able to fuel their brain. And so she began to study that and look at that in relation to people who are maybe at the other end of life, older, that are having memory or brain fog, things like that, or early onset Alzheimer's, as in the case of her husband. So it's pretty fascinating. MCTs are pretty amazing. And as I mentioned, they are important. They become energy in the liver, so the body has quick energy. You'll find a lot of people who are sports enthusiasts and they're the weekend warriors, or they like to do the very heavy duty workouts, a lot of them are drinking coconut water or having something with coconut oil before the workout or directly after for recovery from those heavy duty workouts, or maybe a triathlon or a race or whatever. So we have a lot of people who are athletic that are using MCTs. And of course, we know that MCTs support great hair, skin, and body care. I mean, where else could you find an oil that you could cook with, and that you can use for all sorts of things in cooking, and that you can also put on your skin, and maybe even add essential oils to it and make your own body care line that's has one or two very simple ingredients. So lots of uses for coconut oil. Some of you know we've talked about oil pulling before. You can learn more about that on the internet. So a great way to help detox is by flushing coconut oil around in your mouth for a certain amount of time. And there are lots of videos on the internet if you'd like to take more of a look at that traditional type of detoxification. So coconut oil is truly a wonderful thing. These coconut trees are terrific. They can be used for so many purposes. Every part of the tree can be used to sustain life, and coconuts are full of nutrition, and part of that nutrition resides in those MCTs. So we just talked about all of this, but in regard to, let's say, the weight loss, a lot of people will say, well, why would I take coconut oil for weight loss? I mean, it's an oil. But people find that if they're using coconut oil regularly throughout the day, they have more energy, of course. We talked about that. They also feel more satisfied, let's say, before a meal, so they tend not to overeat. And that's a really good combination. So not overeating and having more energy usually means that people want to get out there and move more. And we know that the best way to lose weight is to cut back on those calories and get out there and get some exercise and burn off some calories too. So this idea of a healthier metabolism, that energy production, and the weight loss aspect is one reason why a lot of people would use coconut oil. And I mentioned antiviral, antibacterial, antifungal, and they work internally as well as externally. So you could take some of this coconut oil and you could mix it with maybe some tea tree oil or something that's your favorite, maybe lavender, and use that, say, on a bug bites this summer or even a sunburn. There's lots of good ways to help heal the skin on the outside by using coconut oil. Remember, coconut oil has been used by island populations for generation after generation after generation as a mainstay for cooking and also for using on the skin and the hair. So it's very time tested and has some great benefits. So increasing that good cholesterol and reducing that risk for cardiovascular disease. There's been lots of studies on these MCTs for that purpose. And as a moisturizer, massage oil, great for massage if you add some essential oils to it, hair treatment, and healing our skin. So these are the health benefits of MCTs, and these are why people have been flocking to coconut oil in the last couple of years, it seems. There's such renewed interest in coconut oil, and it doesn't seem to be slowing down out there among consumers. So let's look at these two. I mean, what does it boil down to? There you see our organic virgin coconut oil. You can see that right there. And this is in the brown bottle. It comes in a 16-ounce jar. This is a 32-ounce pictured. And the new organic culinary coconut oil only comes in the 32-ounce. So when you go into the stores and your reps have placed it, don't look for a 16-ounce. There's only going to be the 32-ounce. And they look rather nice sitting next to each other on the shelf, and they're going to look great on your demo table. And should you demo them both at once? Yes, I would. I would give people the opportunity to look at both of them, and I have a great cheat sheet that I'm going to be sending to you so that you can put on your table. I'll show it to you in a little bit, and it will help you and be much easier for people to be able to see, kind of what is the same about them. And so let's talk about this. So the first thing people say is, if this is a refined oil, it must not be as potent. Those MCTs must not be there. Well, Here's the deal. The MCT profile is the same. Taking out that scent and the taste of coconut has nothing to do with the MCTs, has nothing to do with the fatty acid profile of coconut oil. So those MCTs occur in exactly the same ratio in each product. And the truth is, in all coconut oils out there, coconuts are pretty much the same all over the world. There's not a magic coconut that is, 95% MCTs, and the rest, the other fatty acids. They have a specific area that they fall into, and we'll look at that on when I look at the SFP for you. But some people, you'll hear people say, well, is this MCT oil? And this is not just straight MCT oil. MCT oil is when you take coconut oil and you separate out the MCTs, you fractionate the coconut oil. And can that be used for specific things? Yes, a lot of people are using that. They want those MCTs. This is more of a whole food. Both of these still have every other constituent of the coconut there, as just raw virgin coconut oil. The only thing that's different about the culinary is that it can't be called virgin because it has had the scent and flavor removed. And the truth is, and you can see here, I'm getting a little ahead of myself, but let's say, all right, so the nutritional profile is intact in both of them, the very same. There are some omega-6s and omega-9s that occur in coconut oil, and they're all still there in both of these products. It is certified organic and non-GMO, both of them. You can see that organic certification right there. And this means that it's 95% or above organic. And in this case, there's only one ingredient, and it is totally organic. Now, are they virgin? Yes, on the organic virgin, of course, and no on the culinary coconut oil. Remember, it's still organic and non-GMO, but it is not virgin because if you do anything past just the expeller pressing of coconut oil, it would, no matter how far you go, one step across to do the simple filtering of taking out the scent and flavor is considered refined, just as if you were to do a lot more refining to it. So this is very lightly refined. It's not a huge refinement because you've still got everything else there, but it can't be called virgin because something has been done to it. Are they vegan? Well, yes, of course, they're both vegan. There's nothing non-vegan about this new culinary coconut oil. They're both gluten-free, and they're both kosher certified. So they've gone through some strict looking at through that kosher certification as well. Now, are they refined, and what is their heat toleration? Well, of course, the organic virgin coconut oil is not refined, and here we go. Here's a big difference. You're going to want to stay at 325 or below when using organic virgin coconut oil. Anywhere above that, you may begin to get some smoking going on, and you don't want to do that. Now, the good part about this organic culinary coconut oil is that by removing those aromatics, you can lift the smoke point, because these MCTs are very heat tolerant, but the other constituents are not so much. So when you've got the plant polyphenols, and there are some, they're very hard to measure, but they're in the organic virgin coconut oil. That's what's keeping that heat level down. And when you remove those that are responsible for scent and flavor, the cooking temperature that you're really safe at jumps to 400 degrees. So you can use this, frying takes place at about 375, so you can safely use this. And if you look at this, the scent and flavor of coconut, no, it's not here. It is still in the organic virgin. Now, I did a bit of looking around and asking around, and I found that there were actually a lot of chefs out there who definitely prefer a coconut oil that does not have the scent and flavor of coconut. Because sometimes when you're making a recipe, adding a coconut flavor into it really is not something you want. Now, I don't mind. I use the organic virgin for making my scrambled eggs and, just about every other thing. I cook with coconut oil a lot. Um, but some people, maybe they're blending subtle flavors and they just don't want to add that coconut flavor to it. So for those great gourmets out there, this is the perfect oil. They can heat it up to fry something in. It's got those beautiful MCTs, so wonderful nutritionally, and it doesn't add the scent and flavor. It's just a non-scent or a non-flavor. There is no hydrogenated or trans fat in either of these. And here is a difference that will account for the price of these two, because you'll notice in the stores that the culinary coconut oil is going to be a lower price point than the organic virgin coconut oil. I know that's one of the reasons that we wanted to come out with this product. And I'll tell you another reason when we look at the SFP and the NFP, which we'll talk about in a minute, so just hold on. But we wanted something that could be a lower price point, that was a really healthy oil, so that people could, maybe if they were using another type of maybe omega-6 dominant oil because it was less expensive, so maybe corn oil, oh, hope not, but let's say they would be able to change over and get and be more enticed to try coconut oil if it was at a pretty good price point for them. So the coconuts used for this production are harvested mechanically. This one over here, the organic virgin, they're all hand selected. So people are actually doing the work of going to the trees and hand selecting off of each tree the ones that they use. This is a mechanical type of gathering of the coconuts, and more mechanical stuff going on the line as far as splitting the coconuts, that type of thing. So it saves a lot of labor costs. They're done in the very, very same area. So same groves, that type of thing. So that will account for a little bit better price point on this, which is very nice. They are both expeller pressed with no solvents of any kind used. You can see that, yes, on both of them. And they're both grown in the northern Philippines in the Quezon area. So by our same growers. So this is kind of the comparison. And I've prepared another sheet for you that we'll look at in a little bit, that you'll be able to have on your demo table to be able to show to your consumers, so they can kind of see the difference. Sometimes you can talk to people, but if you could actually show them something, I mean, I'm a visual person, and so I love to have that reinforcement of something I'm looking at while maybe I'm getting a little bit of education. So again, this idea of using this culinary coconut oil, the uses can be branched out a little further. You can be sure that when you're baking with it, even if you're going up to maybe 375 for some cookie recipes or things like that, or maybe you're using it in waffles or something like that, this is going to be a very, very safe oil, and you can heat it up to that high and you won't affect it at all, and there won't be any smoking. So 400 degrees, remember, and that's in Fahrenheit. So the aromatic compounds have been removed. So when they're putting it on toast or something, it's not tasting like coconut. So if they mixed it with a little bit of honey, they could put it onto some really nice toast and they would just taste the honey. Or maybe they want it on popcorn and it's going to taste a little bit nicer than maybe a coconut flavor on their popcorn or in their stir fry, or however you want to use it. So it's a great idea to use coconut oil as a replacement for omega-6 dominant cooking oils. Remember that omega-6s are something that most North Americans get way too much of. And the reason that they're getting too much of it is usually coming from cooking oils and oils that are added to processed foods like soybean oil and safflower oil and sunflower oil and corn oil. You find those a lot in processed foods, and that's taking our omega-6 intake if we eat those foods, or even if we eat fast foods, because a lot of fast foods are cooked in these, soybean oil or corn oil or sunflower oil, something like that. So that spikes our omega-6 intake without us even really realizing it, those of us that would eat that type of food. And omega-6 is inflammatory. So omega-3s are not inflammatory. So you can see kind of the scale. We need some inflammation because we need to have our ankle swell up if we sprain it to let us know, be careful, treat me better, and take care of me. But we don't need inflammation, systemic inflammation throughout our body, which unfortunately, when your omega-6 intake is outside of our intended range, and our intended range is about 50-50. So the same amount of omega-6s as omega-3s that you get a day. Or even if you want to have a little more omega-6s, it's okay to go up to maybe a 4-to-1 ratio omega-6 to omega-3. But most people in North America, at a conservative estimate right now, are getting 20 to 25 to 1 omega-6 to omega-3. So we've got to look at our diet. We've got to read labels. And as I've mentioned before, even let's say a salad dressing. Go in and make your own salad dressing. Use flaxseed oil, which is high in omega-3s, very low in omega-6, and add in some great balsamic vinegar or raspberry vinegar, whatever type that you like, and lots of spices and garlic and some lemon juice, and make your own beautiful salad dressing that's an omega-3 dressing. That's your very own designer omega-3 dressing, something that you love. You could keep it in your fridge for a couple of weeks. You could even, if you want to protect it from light, just wrap some aluminum foil around the outside of maybe the jar or whatever that you put it in, and it will be wonderful and taste delicious, and you'll get a high dose of omega-3s every day. Well, in cooking, you can use coconut oil as a replacement. Olive oil works as well. Olive oil has a lot of omega-9. It has no MCTs in it, so you can't get the benefits that you would get from coconut oil in an olive oil. But you won't get a lot of things that compete. Omega-6s will compete with omega-3s, and you want to keep that competition down and let your omega-3 shine. And you're getting those omega-3s from what? From when you cook fish or seafood at home. Also, when you eat certain nuts, you're getting some from walnuts, but you're getting a lot from omega-3 supplements like omega swirls or flax oil or fish oil. So supplementation with omega-3s is really important, and so many people are doing that because they just don't eat enough seafood. But you don't want to negate that by piling on the omega-6s. So something to think about, and I think in the future I might do, if anybody's interested, and please do send me ideas if you'd like me to train on something or teach on something. I would love to do just a meeting on omega-6 to omega-3 ratio so that you could understand that a little bit better, because a lot of times you might be the only person that talks to anyone out there about that, and they may learn something new and say, wait, I know I'm dealing with heavy inflammation. I should look at my diet. I should look at how much omega-6 I'm getting every day. And you might just be the light bulb that comes on in someone's life if you know those things and you're speaking about those at the demo table. So again, this is great for that. Coconut oil in general is not omega-6 dominant. It does have a little bit of omega-6, but certainly in a very nice, great ratio. Much more omega-3s to the MCTs to the omega-6. So not going to compete with that flax oil or fish oils that you're using as well. All right. So it is a culinary oil that is a culinary delight. So here's the nutrition facts, and we're going to talk about this because some of you might be looking at this going, wow, this looks different than the organic virgin coconut oil, and you're right. We're going to look at a slide that compares a nutrition fact panel to a supplement fact panel. And we're going to see what the difference is. The nutrition fact panel, you can see right away, is much simpler. And what's on this is regulated by the FDA. So, there's a certain pattern everything has to be in. That's why they all look very consistent on products that you get. And you can see that here it says saturated fat. Well, that saturated fat is those MCTs. So there we go, running the normal 60%. And each serving is a tablespoon, just like the other coconut oil. And actually, some people actually take a tablespoon a day, just straight off the spoon. I love the way it tastes off the spoon. But you can see this one calls out the macronutrients, protein, carbs. It does have a listing for cholesterol, no dietary cholesterol in coconut oil, and those MCTs are contained in this. And we'll talk about that on another slide. We'll compare the organic virgin supplement fact panel and this nutrition fact panel. So the ingredients in this one, the same as the organic virgin, just organic coconut oil. And pretty much the very same information. It's only available, as I told you before, in the 32 ounces. So on your demo table, you'll have this 32 ouncer. You could have a 32 ouncer of the organic virgin, and then you could also have a 16 ouncer of the organic virgin. So for your demo table, you can demo them both at the same time, as I mentioned, and this is kind of what it might look like on your table. And maybe you're going to have them on either side of the table. So be really creative because, spread out. And some of you use chocolate, and then you put a little bit of the organic virgin coconut oil on it. And people try it, and they love that coconut and chocolate together. And this is a really decadent way for them to get a good dose of MCTs and some great antioxidants from cocoa, and if it's a really nice high-grade chocolate bar. You'll get the oiliness if you put it onto chocolate on the Culinary coconut oil, but you won't get the coconut flavor. So I would say, you might want to have some spoons out there on the table so people could try a little bit of each. You will be surprised probably how many cooks say, wow, I am going to use this because my husband doesn't like the taste of coconut oil, and he doesn't like me to use it in our food because he can taste the coconut. So if you can get the Culinary coconut oil, they're not going to have that problem. You can, of course, add it to smoothies. You can do all of the same things. Some people might say, wow, this might be great because I always mix it with essential oils for my skin, and I don't like the coconut smell in the background. I want to smell like the Lang Lang oil or the grapefruit oil or the lavender oil. I want that to come through. I don't want the coconut to come through. Well, the Culinary coconut oil would be the perfect thing to mix with those essential oils to use on your skin or your hair. All right, so some may prefer that organic Culinary coconut oil because there's no center flavor. And remember to tell them about the higher heat on this one. 325 on these guys over here, and 400 on the Culinary coconut oil. I'm going to show you a little chart that I'm going to send you the PDF. You don't have to print it from the slides. I'll send you a separate one. And what I'm going to do is send you the slideshow from today and this PDF that I'll show you. And you can, I'll send that to you by email for everyone who signed up and is present today, and then I'll put it onto your web page, and we'll talk about that in a minute. So I would print and laminate that, or maybe you put it in one of those acrylic stands. Maybe you have those for your demos. I know a lot of you do, and you'll put a sheet in and pull it out when you for the next demo, maybe for the next product that you're doing. So the one I'm going to send you will be a really great one to print, and if you can print in color, that would be wonderful because you'll see it's colorful, and you could keep it in there and just use the same one every time. And I want you to be prepared to explain the differences between the NFP and the SFP, and we'll talk about those, I think, on the next slide. And have plenty of the consumer cards and the recipe books. Yes, for those of you who don't know, we have a free recipe book, and of course the consumer cards are free. So to consumers, it's always free to you guys, but consumers will say, well, how much is the recipe book? Well, it's free. They can have a recipe book, and it will give them incredible recipes to use with coconut oil, and they can use either the organic virgin or the organic Culinary coconut oil. So that code is RCP7, and that is something that you'll want to get a lot of, because remember, these are not perishable, so you can use them. You can keep them. If you don't give them all out at a demo, you can certainly have some in your car and you're ready for the next demo. The other lit number that's great to remember is lit 401, and that's that beautiful consumer card on coconut oil. So this is the front that shows the organic virgin, and then the consumer flips it over. Remember, these are nice sturdy cards, and they can learn about our coconut oils and why MCTs are important, and some of the benefits. So they can walk away with a card. You can tuck it right into that recipe book, and so they can take it home and utilize it and maybe share it with a friend. I know a lot of people do that. We've actually had people call who say, my friend at work gave me this thing. It says lit 400 or something on it, and I'm kind of interested in this product. So it's kind of fun. People do share, and we like to make these nice sturdy things and these very useful creative recipes for people to branch out a little bit in their cooking and try. So I think sometimes you just have to give people inspiration. So if you've got something that you like to do with coconut oil, try it at home with the culinary coconut oil and see if it works. And maybe you want to even do something that's like a topical thing and put a little of your favorite essential oil in there or something, so people could try it that way. A lot of people have never even tried coconut oil on their skin, and they think it's really greasy until they put a little dab on their hand or arm or something and see how nice it rubs in. So, and remember, summer's here. People need an after sun help for their skin if they've been out in the sun all day working outside or playing outside. So so nice and safe. And how wonderful is it to have something that you put on your skin that is one beautiful organic ingredient. So all right, let's talk about those nutrition facts and the supplement facts panel. So here's the nutrition fact panel. This one is for the organic culinary. And on the right, we have the supplement facts panel, and this is what's on the organic virgin. You can see that the supplement facts panel, well, supplement facts is pretty self-evident. It's on supplements out there. And these are usually taxed in the states that charge tax. I don't know that I've been anywhere that there wasn't tax on supplements. Maybe you're lucky to live somewhere where there's not, but usually there is. And this breakdown is a little more in depth, according again to the FDA regulations for a supplement facts panel. And so the breakdown you can see of the lauric acid that produces that monolaurin in the body is 6,220 per tablespoon, and the caprylic acid 640, and the capric acid 550. So these MCTs are in the natural ratio that they occur. Now, they're not listed on the nutrition facts panel. Because of that FDA, there's no way we can do that and call it a nutrition facts panel. And why did we go with a nutrition facts panel? Well, we're trying this out simply because it's used on food items. And both of these are foods, technically. They are very nice organic foods. And we liked the idea that these can be purchased by using an EBT card. So people who are out there who are maybe having some financial troubles and use an EBT card in order to obtain food should be able to purchase healthy food. And I can't think of a better oil for them to use or to be able to have for their family to cook with than coconut oil, and organic coconut oil, and a really high quality organic coconut oil. So this is kind of exciting for us, and we've actually had some stores contact us and say, it would be great if you could give us more products that have a nutrition facts on them, because if they're considered that, people in my state don't have to pay tax on it. So so that's another benefit of having the nutrition facts on there. And some people might even notice that. You might have consumers that will, pick something up and go, oh, wow, it's a nutrition fact. I can get this with my EBT card. This is awesome. And they'll be really, really happy about that. And the stores will as well, because that means they're getting more product out the door into the hands of people who need it. And again, that idea of not being taxed is really awesome as well, especially for a really high quality oil like this. The only drawback is that it only lists the macronutrients. So it's got, protein on there. Well, we know that coconut oil doesn't have protein. It doesn't have any carbs either. Excuse me, voice is a little hoarse. And of course, it doesn't have sodium or cholesterol. Um, and the only way that you can list the fats is just in these basic categories. Now, there's no trans fats, obviously, in coconut oil, as I mentioned. And so that saturated fat, and you can show them if they look at this and go, wow, maybe it's somebody who doesn't know anything about coconut oil and they say, ooh, it's got a lot of saturated fats. Well, you can explain to them. You can even grab the other coconut oil and say, this is the kind of fat that's there. These are MCTs, and then tell them about MCTs. And so this will give you a basic idea of what the difference is between an SFP and an NFP. And will you see more Barlean's products with an NFP? Um, let's see, some of our things that could go out with an NFP for you would be our Fortiflax or our chia seed or our flax chia coconut. That would be an awesome thing for people to get for their families and not to be taxed on. So we can't do all of our products with an NFP, but we might be able to get more of the nutrition facts panel out there. And if you hear any feedback, oh, I would love to hear what you're hearing about this, because we'd like to know if it's important to consumers. And, and that's, if we can know what consumers need, it can help us to even design more products that might be more of a whole food type of product that could get out there in the hands of people everywhere, and get around maybe that taxing or being able to be purchased on that EBT card. So let me show you now. This is the kind of comparison, and this will be a nice PDF that you can print out. It's an 8.5 by 11 size. It'll fit nicely, as I mentioned, in one of those acrylic things, or if you laminate it, or even slip it into one of those page protector things and just have it laying there with your stuff and be ready to show it to them. If they say, well, what's the difference? Then you can have them hold this and you can explain to them. And you can see this side, you can see the bottle, the virgin coconut oil is here. And you can see I even called out that it has an SFP to remind you that you might want to show them that. The organic certification, yes, on both of them. And I did mention this is refined, so they understand right from the get-go that there's a little bit of refinement, that it's processed to remove just the coconut flavor and the coconut scent. The organic certification is there. Yes, green check marks mean yes, good, go. The original MCT profile is intact, so the same amounts in both, yes. It's non-GMO, both of them. Gluten-free, both of them. Vegan and kosher certified, both of them. Solvent-free, yes to both. Non-hydrogenated and trans fat-free, yes. The heat capacity, 325 on the virgin, 400 on the culinary. And you can use it on your skin and hair. You can use it topically. Yes, on both of them. So I'm hoping that this may help you and might make it easier, especially if you've got multiple people maybe around the demo table at one time. And you know how that goes. You're busy talking with one person and you want someone else, if they've got a question, to have a quick answer. So you might want to have this front and center, and that might help you. So now let's talk about that web page. And remember, I'm going to email that to you along with the slides that we use today, just in a PDF format, so you can look through them. Now, where else will they be? Well, some of you have already been accessing the demo team tool page. So this is the link. You don't have to use a special password or username or anything to get in. You can access that, and if you don't have anything to write it down with now, you'll have a copy of these slides that'll come by email. So you can look in to this slide. It's almost the last slide, only one more to go, and then you'll be able to find that link. And I would save that link because you can go in, and the page looks kind of boring. It just looks like this. But in there, you're going to find some things. You're going to find short slide trainings on different products. And I'm going to add this recording today to this area down here, you can just click on them and you can be able to play the recording. So let's say you're going to maybe do a training, or not training, you're going to do a demo and you're going to use the flax chia coconut. And you want to go back and maybe listen to that. Or you can go in here and look at some of these, and there'll be short slide trainings on them. There's information there on xylitol. And I'll be adding a few more things. I'm going to be adding some statements about various things. Like lots of times you maybe get questions out there. Like maybe somebody will ask you, well, I never buy anything from a company that tests on animals. Does your company test on animals? And of course we don't. I always laugh and say, well, the only testing on animals we do is us as humans. So we taste all of our stuff, and sometimes research and development has wonderful days where we come in and taste all the new products and give our rating and tell them what we liked or didn't like about a new product. And so we're the only ones we test on, actually. And of course, we would never test on animals here. So, but it might help you to have that as sort of a PDF so that you could, if you feel it's something you need, you could click on it and print it out and maybe have it in your demo box so that you could show people, maybe in a sheet protector, and say, well, here, you can read this yourself. Or if you'd like, I could email it to you, and you could go above and beyond and email something to someone. So I'll have some of those on here as well. I'll be loading those up. If you have something in particular that you've been asked about, numerous times or even a few times at your demo tables, please send me an email so I can make sure that I put on this page something that would help you. So you can download the files, or you can just click on them and read them. If you don't want to download them, you can just leave them where they are. You know where to get them, and then come and get them as you need them. And I will add things from time to time. It's very simple to get to. No username or password needed. I would ask, however, because we can monitor this page, and we have full monitoring going on so that we would know who is accessing the page. I would appreciate if you don't share it with other demo reps that maybe work for other companies or other people out there. I wouldn't just give this to a consumer and say, oh yeah, just go to this page and find something. This is for you guys. So if we see a lot of access that we don't recognize, the email addresses that are coming in or that are linking to this page, then we probably will have to do something where there is a username and password. And I know so many of us have so many usernames and passwords that we use to access things that we didn't want to have to tax you with another one. But if we have to do that in the future because maybe stuff is out there, we do have competitors, obviously, and we would like to keep this in-house as much as possible. So this is your own private page. And also don't forget, there's if you haven't seen, maybe you're brand new. I did see a couple new names out there today. You can go in and learn how to file your demo report and how to order your supplies for your demos. And don't forget to try these oils together yourself. Like, you might try them at home and see what your family thinks of them. And then you can give your honest feedback to consumers out there when they say, which one of these do you prefer? And you can tell them which one you prefer and why. All right, so let's see. I think we just have one more slide. And this is that pathway to a better life slide. And I always try to end with this because that logo has been with us now for over a year now, and it's slowly making its way onto every single product that we have. We've had label revisions where we've updated it. And I just want to remind all of you, just give yourself a pat on the back, or tell your partner or one of your kids or somebody to pat you on the back for me, because you guys are part of this pathway to a better life. I mean, there are people out there that I know that you've interacted with, and that you take the time to care and to interact with people out there. And maybe, and I'm not being melodramatic, I know this to be true, there might be people that you interact with that you're the only friendly face they saw that day. Maybe they live alone, or they're elderly and maybe don't have too much connection with family, and they can have a conversation with you and have a smile and try something. And even if they don't buy anything or walk away with something, they had a really nice interaction and a little piece of friendship out there. And so it made their life a little bit better. Now, if they tried the products, could they maybe see some health benefits? Yeah, or they got the recipe book and they tried a new healthy recipe. And yeah, they sure that would be a way for a pathway to a better life as well. The other side to this logo is the idea that those products that you are promoting and that you're selling out there, remember that the proceeds that are coming in from your efforts at sales and our reps and the store's efforts, because they're a part of this too. We're all a big team. The money coming in from that, a large part of it goes out to outreaches around the world and in different places. I just, and I'll share this with you. I mean, some of you know that we have outreach to food banks, and we're in the Pacific Northwest. So far we've just been testing this out in the Pacific Northwest, which would be Washington, Oregon, and Idaho. And Bruce has, made some products that are not out there on the market for Barleans. You'll never find them in stores yet, maybe someday, but they're actually put together and they have a beautiful label on them, and they are sent to food banks to be given away to families or singles or seniors for free so that they can have something that is nutritious and that they can take home and share with their families. There's even a swirl that is out there just at food banks right now. It has multivitamins in it, minerals, and omega-3s. And it no doubt could change the life of people who maybe don't have very good food to eat every day, and yet they could get some really great nutrients in a really tasty way that's highly absorbable. I always end up talking about swirls, don't I? but anyway, those proceeds that are coming in from the sales of these products in the stores that you're handing out from your table and that people are taking to a cash register and buying in the store, that's part of a beautiful pathway to a better life, because that brings in money for us to be able to do things like that. And we also support orphanages help support orphanages in Eastern Europe and in India and in Peru. And we have a lot of other outreaches that we work with. Vitamin Angels, as most of you know, we're very heavily involved with Vitamin Angels. So you're all a part of this. You are all part of this pathway to a better life. And maybe nobody tells you that every day, but what you do is hard work, facing consumers and taking your table and all your stuff and setting it up. But I appreciate that, and the Barleen family does. And this is a picture of the Barleen family. You know, now it's on all of our products. So there's Bruce in the middle in the blue shirt, and there's his dad Dave on the right and his mom Barb. So they all want to thank you as well. Um, by the way, when they travel, they're in a store and they see a demo, they would love to come up and talk with you. So if you ever see them approaching you, it might be that they're out there in the world somewhere and they stopped into a store. And wouldn't it be awesome they would thank you in person, because Barb Barleen has told me before she thinks you guys have one of the hardest jobs out there and that you're all doing a great job. So thank you all for listening today. And I am going to see if you've got any questions out there, and we'll get some questions answered.